I hope you guys love this little black cat as much as I do. Let's get started by creating a background with some Liquitex gesso as a base coat because these rocks are nice and smooth, and I'm going to be using some yellowy oranges, and I want to have a nice bright color, so I'm just going to give it this nice base coat with the Liquitex gesso, kind of using the shape of the rock and creating an oval. Okay, so I'm going to use apricot, however you say it, and the jack-o'-lantern orange. And I'm going to start, I've grown up saying apricot and I feel like that might be wrong. But anyways, that's the paint I'm starting with. And I'm going to start at the top of the rock and get around all the way to the edges and go about halfway down the rock with this color. And then I'm going to come in and dip into the orange and go onto the bottom half of the rock and kind of split it in half. I'm not going to worry about the blending just yet, but just get those colors on there. Now we're going to get into the blending, and I'm just taking a damp brush and kind of going across the middle where the two colors are meeting, and then I'm dipping in each of the paints to just create a nice ombre blend between the two colors. And this is just the first coat. I am just trying to get a rough. It doesn't have to be perfectly blended, but I want everything covered so that when we come in with the second coat, it will be really bright and vibrant. And so once I get this on here, we're gonna let it dry so that we don't rub off any of the paint, and then come back in for a second coat doing the same thing. So using that lighter apricot color on top, and then the orange on the bottom, and then blending in the middle. Now I'm going to pull out my new Thule Art brush pen, the black one, and I'm going to use this to create a border around the rock. And so I'm going to use the tip of it, kind of the brush tip, and create sort of an uneven circle. I don't want this to be perfectly outlined, and then I'm going to create a second circle or oval that's not quite aligned with the other one. And now to draw the cat, we're just gonna go with shapes. So I didn't even line it out first. I'm just going for it. So I made the body, and then the kind of the haunches on the legs are almost like separated sides of a heart, then an oval for the head. And I used the brush tip to kind of shape the ears, and then I added to them. And then you just fill it in after you add a nice curly Q tail. The thing I love about this design is how easy it is. So it's literally like when you're a kid and they teach you to draw shapes and kind of put shapes together to create a little animal or a little something. And that's kind of what this reminded me of. It's kind of combining shapes. And speaking of shapes, let's go ahead and add a crescent moon in here. And who knew how difficult it could be to make an even crescent moon? But hey, the theme of this rock is kind of imperfect and childlike, and you can really see how much that background pops. I really love how those two colors went together and created this little subtle blend. And then I just added a few uneven stars, and then I'm going to add the eyes using a Posca PC1MR pen as a base coat. And I wanted almond shaped eyes, so I kind of made my own crisscross lines to try and keep an even shape and size to the eyes. Now that I've got that little base coat with the white on there, I am going to take some really bright yellow paint and a disposable eyeliner brush and just fill in those eyes. And this took several coats because yellow is a very finicky color to get nice solid coverage with, but I did a few coats to get nice bright yellow eyes. And it's so cool because it's not quite the color of the background, but it's in the same family, and it just really pops. I love how the color pops. Now we're really gonna have some fun, and we're gonna put some glow-in-the-dark paint over the yellow paint. And again, I did several coats of this because glow-in-the-dark paint is kind of tricky, and I've had this one for a couple of years, so I'm not quite sure if it's even gonna glow. But I did several coats and I let it dry in between each coat. Now I'm going to create the cat eyes using a disposable eyeliner brush and some black paint. I'm making a very thin line down the middle, and then I'm going to kind of semicircle it on both sides. So I guess it'll be a very elongated oval, I guess, that kind of comes together in a point. But I love the look that this created in the cat's eyes. They're so perfect, and it reminds me of Daisy's eyes when the light hits them. And speaking of light hitting things, let's take some extreme hologram glitter paint and add it to the eyes of the cat and then to our little stars, our little imperfect stars, so that we have some sparkle going on this stone. And speaking of stones, this is one of the rocks that I got from Stones by Shelly, and I will link her Etsy shop in the description. She has these packages of these stones. She also does the Santorini cubes. It's reasonably priced, and she ships very quickly. I get them from across the country in probably 3 to 5 days, very easily. I'm kind of loving how this little kitty cat's turning out, and I think we need to name him or her. I don't even know if it's him or her, so put your ideas for names in the comments, and in the meantime, check out those glowing eyes that appeared. This design was so much fun. Thank you so much for stopping by to watch. I hope you give it a try too. There's still plenty of time before Halloween. For more last minute ideas, check out this video I have on the screen, and I'll see you next week. Take care.